Hi,
Hi,
can you hear me?
I can. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really happy that you invited me on a
But
live to chat with
you
you today.
invited me right
Well,
now, so thank you.
technically, technically, yes, you're welcome.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk to you today about MS, about my diagnosis, about your awesome book that you just published.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
it's exciting. I still can't believe it. It's happening. So tell me,
fantastic.
yes, I kind of follow you and I know so many things I feel like about you because of your Instagram, but I didn't realize that you were diagnosed at age 16.
Yes, it's been like 2 decades almost. It's been a really long time. But I was re-diagnosed in 2020, and I feel like this digital nomad journey that I'm on has started since then, since 2020 in the pandemic
How does
when.
it work when they re-diagnose you? I don't know what.
Okay, so in 2005, I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS.
Okay.
I was 16. I was in school, just a baby, you know. For a long time, I ignored my symptoms and I snuck my medicine under the bed, hiding it from my mom. And I think that that led to my MS eventually getting more aggressive. And then in 2020, after my foot started lagging, started getting heavier with foot drop, my doctor said, okay, well, your MS has officially advanced to the next stage, which is secondary progressive. So now I walk with a stick. Um, Having the relationship with my stick has been interesting. Um, I feel like my MS for the past 2 decades has really been a challenge for my identity. Like I've had to reestablish who I am to myself multiple times because for a long time I'm a big avoider. So when I was diagnosed when I was 16, I kind of uh, ignored the fact that I had MS. I didn't talk about it. I didn't tell people about it. Now I'm like quick to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Monica, and this is my story. I have MS, which makes me feel so grateful to you, Agota, because you are writing this book and it's all about sharing your diagnosis. And if I would have had access to that book 20 years ago, maybe I would have been more comfortable as a growing teen identifying as somebody with MS, not I guess my avoidance of everything for a long time had to do with not wanting MS to take over my identity, to be who I was. You know,
Yeah.
I'm more than that. At the time, I was studying theater, I was studying dance in school. I went to college for theater and dance and communications. I did way too much school. But I never wanted to be the girl with MS, despite it was slowly over years creeping up on me. So I was so isolated
Yeah.
for a long
It's
time.
it's so important that this is such a life-changing diagnosis that
Yeah.
I feel like I was diagnosed when I was 35, and now I look back, it was 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, that I had a life before and now I have a life. And I'm so grateful that I dived into research and I changed my life because I feel much better than I used to feel. But if I wouldn't take care of myself, or I wouldn't acknowledge that I have MS and I have to change, then it would be a different story probably. We wouldn't have this conversation.
Yeah, totally.
But you were 16, of course. It's like, what can anybody expect from you?
And I was already going through the teenage motions of like, who am I? What am I going to do in this world? You know what I mean? So for MS to be layered on top of that, I think it affects anybody, whatever age. But for a child, it was rough.
You
And
know,
I,
it's it's so interesting because there are many not many. There are actually three stories in the book of young girls who were diagnosed at the same age as you were. And it took them also a while they kind of grew up, you know, and start taking charge of their life and their identity, and they are sharing their story just like
Yeah.
you are sharing your story on Instagram and motivating
Yeah.
others to, yes, this is a diagnosis, but you don't have to be ashamed of, and you don't have to feel like sorry for yourself. You just have to take action, you know, because
Yeah.
once you take action, everything is just going to turn around.
I feel like there are more conversations now about this and more people with MS now than ever before because we're learning more about the disease. And thank you, science, because now there's more options.
Yeah.
Instead of like how it was 20 years ago, I used to stick myself with a 2-inch needle by myself every Sunday, and I lost every Sunday because I was sick once a week, every week for a long time. And I had to do that by myself. I knew very few.
No, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Sorry about that. So I knew very few people with MS at the time. I did go to Stony Brook Hospital had like a teen camp for MS, and that was awesome because I did find solidarity with other teenagers who I'm still very close friends with.
It's so
Hi, if you're
interesting
watching.
you just mentioned that, because I feel like I don't know you, but this MS is kind of just like there, you know, and that connects us in a way that's like
Totally.
everybody in the book that we finished. Uh, it was just an instant connection. Like we
Yeah.
didn't have to introduce ourselves. We felt like we knew each other, and I feel the
Yeah.
same with you.
Yeah.
It's so let's look at the
Oh,
positive side of MS, and this is just
yeah.
one of them. And I see a question, and I'm not sure if it's for me or you. Why did you stop the medicine? Did you stop the medicine?
I did,
Yeah.
in secret.
Okay.
I started hiding them under the bed so my mom wouldn't see.
But are you on
And
medication right
I
now?
I am on medication. So when I was re-diagnosed with secondary progressive MS in 2020, I had to get serious
Yeah.
about handling my symptoms, managing what I'm feeling. And I'm on Ocrevus now. I've been through several medications, I've taken 6 medications in all, like in 20 years. Now I'm on Ocrevus, and it's awesome. This medication gives me access to the whole world. So I am, I am a digital nomad part-time because once every 6 months I go home to Miami, Florida, where it's devastatingly hot, and that's why I'm running away from the heat because of my symptoms. And so once a month I go to Florida, but otherwise I am jumping around all over the world, which happens to be honestly cheaper than living in Miami, which is extremely expensive. And I feel better because I'm in temperate climates. Like right now, I'm in Medellin, Colombia, and the weather is lovely. I can have the front door open. It's fantastic. The breeze is coming through.
Yeah.
And I can't do that in Miami. I can't walk a block in Miami without limping.
Oh.
Here, I'm walking miles a day and I feel great. And
So
my
interesting how heat affects people with MS.
totally.
Like for me, it doesn't even like I love heat. I can stay
You
on the sun all
do.
day long.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I cannot. It really
But
debilitates
have you
me.
tried taking cold showers in the morning?
Oh,
That kind of
does
regulates your body,
does
and
it?
that might help. Yes,
Oh,
I know it sounds dramatic, but you have to do dramatic things in
no,
order
I
to improve.
know. I know. And I've heard that it's really beneficial, but my gosh, it's really difficult for me to
Only
step into that cold
the
shower.
first 2 times, and then you are like, okay, this is not bad.
Okay, not bad. Okay,
Just
you
like
know what?
eating broccoli.
I love broccoli. I love vegetables, so I don't understand that. But the cold showers, oh, I'm gonna try it for you. I'll
Okay,
try
thank
it.
you. Keep me posted how it goes.
I will. I have heard the benefits of that, but my medicine has been great. I feel much better. There's actually such a difference between like the last few weeks before my infusion and then the week after my infusion. I snap out of it. I feel great. My fatigue is gone for a long time. Sorry about I don't know if you can hear the Colombia noises
Yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
You're in Colombia?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Medellin right
Oh,
now. Yeah.
wow.
I'm
Okay. Have
staying
friends.
here for 3 months
Mm-hmm.
and it's beautiful. I love it. And I feel good here because of the weather. So
Yeah.
that's the whole idea. That's how it started. I just want to get out of the heat. I want to be in a more temperate climate and in a more relaxed environment. You know, the pace of the United States is pretty go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And it's been so
And
nice to
so that's you just covered a really, really important point. It's
stress.
stress. Yes, that's what's causing most of the flares. I feel like the more stories I hear, the more stories I read,
Yeah,
everything is related to stress.
right.
And if you read the rest of the stories in the book, you're gonna realize
Yeah,
that's the common theme. Once somebody reduces stress, it's
a game
life
changer.
changes. Yes.
Yeah, totally, totally. And so a lot of my reconfiguring my identity, a lot of my managing my MS has been reestablished since I've started traveling because I know that my body is changing
Yeah.
inevitably. I don't know if one day I'll have to sit in a wheelchair or if I won't be able to walk a block anymore. And so time is very top of mind to me, and how maybe I have limited time to do all of the things I want and maybe not. But the idea of doing it now seems more prevalent than ever, following my dreams now,
Yeah.
while I can, you know, while I can hike still, you
Yeah.
know.
But
Um,
don't you also have to add to these thoughts that you will, because
yeah, for sure.
if you question it, then there is a thing in your mind, and its mind is so
Yeah,
powerful,
yeah, you're right.
um, that once you have that little thing in your mind, then everything can go downhill. So you don't want
For
to have
sure.
that thought there.
I also want to think realistically, like if it's going to happen to me, I'm gonna confront it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, if my body's already changing, I feel it. My foot lags behind me all the time. It's difficult to do more things now than it was before.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get ahead of it, you know, if that's gonna happen to me, and that's fine.
I
I wanna
cannot
do everything
wait for
now.
you to read the rest of the stories in the
Me
book. And
too.
yeah, I because there are a few stories that people were in wheelchair and now they are walking. They needed a cane and now they don't need it anymore.
Mm,
And all those stories are so inspirational. Not only inspirational, but have like actual tips and recommendations. And of course, the whole story how they separated themselves from this kind of, you know.
yeah, yeah. I
But
can't wait
yes,
to
I
get
don't know why my
into it.
screen just went dark, but you can still see me, right?
I can. Yeah, yeah. I see you.
Mhm.
One thing you said in the book that really touched me. I like live by my notebook. You said everyone is friendly and no one wants to belong in terms of you were talking about going to a
Yeah,
conference for the first time and you
I
needed
was going
everybody.
to an MS meetup,
Yeah,
kind of,
and it
and
was one of your first times.
but I think when I wrote this, I felt like even in Instagram, like you meet a person and everybody has a million questions, you know,
Yeah,
and everybody's so friendly, but nobody kind of wants to know the answers or wants to ask questions.
yeah.
But
I,
yes,
I think I think
after the
that
diagnosis, I definitely find a new community, and I don't
yeah,
like right now and in the past few months or years after I kind of digested the whole, you know, having MS thing, like I don't mind being part of this community. I think it's
right. I think I'm uh, learning to share more. This conversation, me talking about my MS, is very vulnerable for a long time. For most of the 20 years that I've had MS, I've been very isolated. I had no idea that there were conversations on Instagram, which I was on the app all the time for the past like 10 years since it came out. but I never really tuned into the conversations about MS because I was like an avoider, you know?
Yeah.
So in
Because you
2020,
probably didn't hear happy stories. You didn't see
maybe,
people doing
yeah,
great. You don't want to
yeah,
be surrounded by negativity. You don't
right,
want to be surrounded by things that brings you down. You
yeah.
want to be part of the happy conversations, you know?
Totally, totally. And I think that it was my defense mechanism to
Yeah.
avoid it for so long. So then when I was re-diagnosed and I decided to do this MS thing and they're talking about, you know, pick your niche for Instagram, I'm like, well, what do I know a lot about? You know, I guess that would be my MS. And that kind of changed my perspective. I was trying to like educate myself about my body, about my illness, but also tap into relationships, which I had never ever done. And so this conversation with you is really special to me because I've never done it. In 2 decades, I've never really talked about MS. And
Yeah.
so that really rang true to me, what you said, how everyone is friendly, but no one wants to belong. And I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not just me,
No.
you know, everyone is feeling this and struggling with the same commonalities. And so thank you.
Especially when you have symptoms, then it becomes even harder because you
Yeah,
don't really know what's going to happen and you question everything and what's
yeah,
going on in your body.
yeah,
Yes. But thank you for sharing. I
yeah.
really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And I'm
Thank
happy you like
you.
the book.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's really special what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like it's not only I don't deserve all the
Of
credit.
course, there's so
Everybody
many
else,
stories
yes, everybody else who is sharing their
for
story, they
sure.
also deserve the
You know,
credit. And
and I recognize because of like my own history how confronting it, how sharing must be a really vulnerable place to be in. And so I mean I feel
yeah.
it right now.
But you
So
see, the more you share, the more you let it out, the better you
yeah,
feel. And that's the whole point. Like I I speak to these people all the time and they're like, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my story because I was able to detox in a way, you know, writing
yeah.
it down. You have a journal next to you. Like this
Yeah,
is all healthy
yeah,
things to do. It's
yeah.
beneficial.
And I did it for myself, like self therapy, but I never knew that just community was a type of therapy itself. So it's really special now that I've tapped into, you know, us, you know, and it's nice. And especially, you know, there's a feeling of isolation when you're traveling,
Yeah.
when you're far away. I'm far away from my family, so just having these online connections has been really special. And I've only come to learn about this in the past like 2, 3 years, even though I've had MS for so long.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you for
you're
sharing. Thank you
welcome.
for having me, and
Yeah,
thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the book. It's a project that I'm so happy with it, and
yeah. And you're doing good in the world for our people, right?
I think I'm doing it for myself mainly. It helps me, you know, just like you said, sharing your story helps you.
For
And
sure.
of course, if I can help for one person, that would make my day. So it's all connected.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so what's next with the book? Like, what are your, where can we see more of what's going on with this
Uh,
amazing feature? You said recently you have podcasts and
No,
interviews
no,
coming
no,
up.
no. I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I am here to. I feel like my mission is to help others to open their eyes, and if I can change one mindset about the importance of diet, lifestyle, and everything else with the medication, of course, then I accomplished my goal. And the book, I feel like it was just the beginning. Like
Yeah,
I'm trying, we are actually putting together a program. And if anybody's interested, you can join the Facebook group, Beating Multiple Sclerosis. And hopefully we have some updates on that. I don't want to share a lot more about
fair.
that, but yes, that's the next project I feel like we
Awesome.
are working on.
I want in. Count me in. I'm
Okay,
gonna join the group. I love it. It's
Super.
been really special to have a relationship with people that also have my story. So I'm really excited to join your community. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. And when is your next destination? Where are you going next?
I don't know. We're very last minute planners. So I travel with my partner, Matt, and we're kind of last minute travelers. We'll see when we get there. We'll figure it out. Right now, we're in Medellin. Maybe we'll come back to South America. Last year, we did 6 countries in Europe. Before that, we were again in South America in Quito, Ecuador. Just we're following good weather is the idea. I don't know, but I'll keep you posted.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I will check in on you and see how everything is going.
Okay,
Thank you so
cool.
much for having me today. I hope we'll do this another
I
time and maybe
hope so too.
announce it before.
Okay, it's a date. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.